back pocket. Chris, if you would, in a nutshell, tell us who you are and what you do.
Oh, man. I'm an adventurous guy, but as of late, it's been appliance works. Found myself always nitpicking and diagnosing and realizing how to fix things, and it kind of came as like a natural knack to me, so I decided to start my own endeavor and do my own thing with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being here, man. We definitely do appreciate you coming out and joining us for the show, man. Definitely,
no problem.
It's a good show. If you guys noticed, is this, 4 weeks in a row? Is this the fourth week?
It's 4 weeks, yeah.
Is it 4 weeks? Yeah. So for the fourth week, we're actually here at Trek CBD. Of course, they're right here on Main Street in Wake Forest, North Carolina, across from the Sonic. So, be sure to come by and stop in and see Nick and his team here, and they'd be more than happy to get you squared away with any education on CBD products or any products that you want.
Yeah. So I do think that one of my favorite things about Nick is I'll come up here and today I was all over the place. I'm trying to do all these things, so my brain is scattered, and
What?
I got to stop and get
How'd
some
that
beer
happen?
for the show and set up some of our new equipment and stuff. So I come up here and my brain's all over the place, and I walk in the door and there's Nick with my guaranteed greeting of the day. It just makes my Sunday coming in here. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he greets everyone that comes in the store very similar.
So wait.
I think it's not just good for your health, but it's good for your energy overall.
Yeah.
And you make a new friend out of the deal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is a great guy, and it's a great location. Of course, right here in Main Street in Wake Forest, across from the Sonic. So definitely be sure to stop in and see him if you ever have any questions about any CBD products. This whole greeting thing, people don't greet you with a warm greeting when you go places. What did you do?
They do. And
Is it the beard?
Very, very possibly, but more than likely the beard with the mask. I'm in B2B sales, so when I walk in, people are like, "This guy's 6'3".
So is it the bearded mask?
Run for the door, guys. Run for the door.
No, but definitely. So this week, mainly I've just been focusing on really consistency overall. I had a marketing coach, which is my friend Andy. He's 65 years old, a great guy. We had him on. You remember?
Yeah, I remember Andy. Yes. He was a great guy. Yeah.
And so he's kind of my sales and marketing coach / life coach.
Right.
He gave me 3 or 4 binders worth of homework that I have to do. And this week I actually found a business coach for myself. So I'm going to be meeting with him on a regular basis.
Just out of curiosity, how'd you find the business coach? Did you just Google it, or was that like a referral?
No. So the job that I do is just full of tons of people that are really good at different aspects. They actually have kind of all the way at the top, so to speak, like 20 or 30 self-made millionaires.
That's awesome.
And so if I wanted to talk to one of them and be like, "Hey, how do I do what you did?" then all I have to do is ask.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. But what about you, Gavin? What have you been up to this week?
Life's been busy. Trying to stay cool, for one, because it's been so hot. But other than that, working on a couple certifications. Have a couple things in my back pocket I'm working on that hopefully we can talk about here in a couple future episodes. So always have to have something in the fire, right?
Don't ruin the surprise.
All right, no ruining the surprise. Chris, how's your week been, man?
Man, it was busy last week. 4th of July, kind of that whole week, 4th, it slowed down.
Yeah.
But I guess everybody going out of town. So I mean, it was what it was. I kind of just said, yeah, why not? Took a call here and there. Just kind of took the whole week off and kind of enjoyed myself. Hung out with my boys. So it was a good week. But last week, busy. Had me all over the place.
Yeah.
But a lot of driving.
Yeah.
All over the grid, but
nothing wrong with that. So, Ryan, what are we drinking tonight? It looks like we have a couple cans on the table tonight.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So I was pretty excited when Chris said he was a stout guy as well. So right now, I would like to give another shout out to Redline because I think they have one of the main reasons I go there is the big selection. So I got 2 of as many different stouts as I could find. And then they were limited in the fridge, so I got 1 6-pack that was already cold, one that we threw in the fridge when I got here. But that's
nice.
What is that?
This is
sugar?
the sugar coffee cake style stout.
Yeah, so that's the one I have in my glass.
That's what I have also. What do you have over there,
I
Chris?
have the Ponysaurus Brewing Company.
Wow.
This is a An espresso chocolate burnt toffee sounds delicious.
How does it taste? I'm curious. I haven't tasted that one.
It's
yet.
pretty good. I'm enjoying it. It's
I
full of
dig it.
flavor.
I dig it. So before we dive into the questions, I would like to ask the audience, you know, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the show notes, I threw an extra special link in there directly to our Anchor podcast. The reason for that is twofold. Number one, if you're gaining any value from our show whatsoever, we would love if you would choose to support us. The second one is even better because you can actually call into the show with the Anchor app. So that means whether you want to ask Chris a question once this episode is over, then I'd be happy to get you the answer to that. Or you want to ask a question for an upcoming guest, we do have a segment we've set aside where we actually ask those questions live on the air. So be sure to scroll down to the show notes, click that Anchor link, and go ahead and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time we put out a new episode. But Chris, if you're down, we can definitely go ahead and dive in, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
I
on.
He's
Bring the
"Come
juicy
on,
question,
bring
guys.
it on.
Come on.
I mean, just based on the conversations we were having before the show, man, it sounds like you're pretty much a Renaissance man. So that's
I believe you always got to try whatever things in life. And if you see something working out, if you see something you just like naturally pick up, like, man, you got to at least give it a shot, right?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you don't know where it's going to take you. I mean,
Never
you
know
you
what
do it-
doors that'll open, right?
Exactly. And if, the door open and it's swinging the right way, walk on in and just make the best of it, right?
Well, I mean, usually I don't ask this question, but you have such a interesting history. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of like what you do, and how you kind of got to the whole appliance works piece of it.
Man, so I was raised in the restaurant industry. It had been, I think I was 12, 13 years old. I know, a little underage here, but hey, it was under the table back then. We could get away with that in the 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But my stepdad threw me in the kitchen and peeling potatoes, and I wasn't using a knife. I was using a paring knife. I wasn't using one of those little peelers sitting there going
Yeah.
like that. But he threw me in the kitchen, and I realized that it was something I really enjoyed doing, was cooking, and God, it just progressed from there. I just moved up in the ranks and built the resume up, and I've worked for some local spots here in Wake Forest too. There was a restaurant, My Place Restaurant and Tavern down there. I helped them out with their opening, and I was over at La
You said
Foresta.
my place? I love that place.
But it was an awesome spot, man. I love it over there. They got good bite to eat, and my beer cheese over there is probably the hot item over there, man. My beer cheese on my like chicken bacon ranch nachos with the beer cheese on top, made with Guinness. Yeah, it's good stuff over there. But I was
that
also
sounds delicious. actually.
But me and my wife came to this opportunity to own a restaurant on Durant Road, and we made it, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere, sales just dropped, and it was putting money out, putting money out, and eventually, we looked at each other and said, "That's it. Like, you can't spend but so much money. You can't go broke trying to live a dream of having an own successful business."
Mm-hmm. It seems like that. I mean, from what I understand, the restaurant business has pretty slim margins. Is that kind of what your experience was? Or is
Savage margins.
Savage.
I will say they were savage, because you could go from a great week and then just fall flat the next. Like, and to be able to reach that plateau of consistency is it's hard to achieve. There's a few local people who know how to get to that level, but
it seems
hard.
like it's difficult in this area just simply because there's always something new, and it seems like you're always competing against like that what's new and what's fresh and what's
and
the
food
newest thing
critics.
out there.
Everyone's a critic, and with social media, you gotta help the small businesses. I mean, I'm all about
Exactly.
supporting small businesses and getting the love from the locals. That really is what your go-to clutch is relying on people not to go to the franchise guys. Even though I made the mistake of buying a franchise, but behind that mistake was also a lot of money tossed around and little fine print lying in contracts that probably should have been read a little bit more thorough. But
You live and you learn. I mean,
it was one of those things. I also kept reading, though, that if you fail on your own business before the age of 30 or at the age of 30, that you tend to pick it up on your second business endeavor and learn to be successful. The one thing I did pick up from restaurants was customer service and learning to adapt to people. That was probably more money that's worth more money than any other thing I've ever made. Like being able to just work with anybody and learn how to read people. That's something you pick up from the restaurants, and I'm grateful for that. But
awesome.
at the end of the day, we fell off on the business, and I was like, I kind of looked at my wife and I said, well, what am I going to do? And I've always realized that it wasn't necessarily cooking that I was good at. It was my hands. Like working with my hands is really what made me money at the end of the day. You know, not to put it that way, but I mean it's true. That was my bread and butter. So I got my EPA, certification to be able to obtain refrigerants, and got a PM Tech certification, and started the whole Appliance Works thing. And my wife kind of pushed me to, she goes, you got that, you're educated in arts and theater, live your dream too. And as I was mentioning prior to our conversation, is that the only way I could establish that, if you can pull it on a film for 24 days, and with my arts and theater background, that in order for me to film for 24 days, I'm not going to be able to get a job with somebody. You go to any employer and they say, hey, boss man, I need 24 days off.
Let me show you this permanent vacation.
Yeah, let me show you this part. The unemployment line's waiting for you. That's your next job. You need to get through that line first. So, hunting down the dream and trying to be a successful business owner at the same time.
So, Chris, the Appliance Works, I like how, the experience you had in the restaurant industry working with your hands translates over. You got all your certifications. That way, you have access to the tools and resources you need to work on those appliances. What is like your most favorite part about helping people with their appliances?
The satisfaction knowing that they don't have to go spend $2,000-$3,000 on a brand new refrigerator, or knowing that it's fixed right then and there. The one thing that I have noticed is throughout the coronavirus, COVID-19, is that the big name places like Lowe's and Home Depot, they're backed up like a month and a half, 2 months from being able to bring you a new appliance. So it kind of really dumped business on me. And in a pinch, like you have to find the answer no matter what. And being able to find the answer and get someone's appliance back up and running, because most of the time it's mom at home, dad's out working, the kids are running around the house, and they want to eat. Your stove's not working. You got to have a stove. Right. And that was like my main concern opening up. I called the city of Raleigh and I said, hey, I was, when it was the standpoint where what boundaries make you essential, and they had told me, they said, hey, you got banners on your vehicle and you are essential with the job title you have. People have to be able to eat. They have to be able to wash their clothes. Like these things are needed. And I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And I mean, it has been booming.
That's
ever since I opened the door. And I'm a one-man wrecking crew. Like I said, my whole filming and acting background, I had to find this fine line, and I think I really found it, like where I can kind of have my cake and eat it too and try to live the dream.
That's good. That is good. I mean, and congrats on the success in the business so far. I know it's been, a pretty recent endeavor as far as starting it. But one thing I just kind of wanted to back up and just kind of point out to the viewers, if there's any entrepreneur out there that's looking at getting started, what you said is gold. That piece about you failing, but you took those lessons that you learned from that failure and applied them to what's going on now, and it's helped make you more successful. I mean, because I'm sure that had you just gone in and this was the first attempt at it, you wouldn't have been as deliberate and as calculated in some of the moves that you've been able to make so far. So, definitely that piece is definitely gold. I mean, not looking at actual failure as just a failure, but an actual opportunity to actually learn something, actually take those lessons away from it. So that's very valuable. With that, how has I know you kind of kicked this business off with COVID right there, starting off.
It's literally just beginning of March.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
I was like, man, this might be the wrong time to be taking such a business plunge, But like I said, it started off great. And another thing with the restaurant too is I always hear about bad reputation with appliance guys because of the fact most of the time they're grumpy or they don't have the customer service skills.
Right.
And that's something, like I said, with the restaurants, that's where I picked up. I mean, people need to remember, like, I'm walking into a random person's house. I have no idea who you are. I've never met you in my life. And to be able to win somebody over and make them feel comfortable with you being in their house with their children, like that's key. Like, I don't know about you. You gentlemen married?
I am.
You are?
I am. Have a kid.
Does your wife usually have someone come by the house to fix something when you're not there? Like that comfort level of knowing you're home?
Yeah.
And it's a comfort level. You want to make sure your family's safe anyway, right? I mean, so I try to come in with that pleasant demeanor. And I always, tend to state, hey, I got kids, I got a family too. I get it. I'm gonna get you guys up and running. I'll be in and out, and kids got to go to appointments or whatever it might be. I say, adapt.
Exactly.
Adapt and make people feel comfortable.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, because you're exactly right. I mean, going to people's home, that's kind of their safe space. So it definitely takes a certain personality, and you definitely have to adapt and have good people skills. Just like you said, being able to read people and actually adapt to whatever they're going through. Because I mean, I imagine if somebody's refrigerator or oven or HVAC system is out, they're pretty stressed at that point because
Yeah.
something's not working.
And then there's the guys who give you the bad rap too.
Yeah.
You know, and I was mentioning earlier, the guy price gouging. It's like, man, come on.
Yeah.
Be reasonable.
Yeah.
Don't try and get rich off one job.
Yeah,
Do the many of jobs, get the good reputation, build good customer service, and build yourself a good, reliable source of a go-to guy who can get things done. You know, that's what I believe in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd much rather have that loyal following of customers and you charge them a fair price. And, you know, from there, your reputation is going to only precede yourself, and then you actually flourish in business because of all the referrals and a good name. So, absolutely.
Hearsay is still the best way to market yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I dig it. My brother's a plumber, and he's actually looking into a network now. But there's a network they do a lot involved in the service industry, and one of their primary focuses is that customer service. And so just the fact that that's like your primary thing, not only says a lot about you, but I know that you're already seeing the rewards from that, and so that higher quality, that level of comfort and cleanliness that you provide to your customers is super important at the end of the day. So Chris, what would you say, like getting started? I know you haven't done appliances your entire life, but what was like one of the biggest challenges moving into that space?
Ooh, learning new equipment. So my thing with with the restaurants is like, if something would break in a kitchen, I'd be able to diagnose it and figure it out. Like, okay, fryer's not starting. Got to be a pilot or a gas issue. You know, like, simplify it. Gas goes through a line, it sparks, it heats up. But a restaurant sometimes can be a little bit more simple than household. Like, two brands that I will call out, and I get more phone calls from than anything, is LG and Samsung.
Really?
Oh, my Lord.
But they're like the most popular companies right there, though. Like, that is
Good for
crazy.
TVs, good for your cell phones. But, man, when it comes to their refrigerators, they have a lot of issues with control boards and compressors. They had a great concept, but sometimes I will find myself like just rattling my brain trying to figure out what's going on with this thing. And most of the time, you know, my go-to is going to be a control board with a shorted relay, which is why the part isn't working. It's not the part that's defective, but I found that's the challenge is different equipment. There's a lot more variety. You know, like a restaurant cooler, it's got all your essentials in it. But I also find out that Samsung and LG, they design their appliances by a computer. Meanwhile, us American-made products are made by engineers because
they can
we
actually
like design.
anticipate what's going to
We're
happen.
not going
in
to
the real
rely on a
world.
computer to tell us how to build something. You know, I mean, I get it. You can use it for architect and design, but at the end of the day, it's a refrigerator. And everybody says, "Oh, I got this low-end model, this and that." No. I always tell us, you have the best model you could possibly have in that.
Yeah.
It is 10 years old. It was pre-computerized, digitalized. It's the simplest, and the parts are super cheap on it.
Yeah.
There's some people at the end of the day, you can save yourself a ton of money if you have a 15-year-old dryer or washer.
Yeah.
Like, the simplicity of it is what makes it that good.
Yeah.
You know, I once had an old lady tell me she had a 37-year-old Maytag, and all it needed was a belt on it. And I asked her, I said, "Ma'am," I said, "Anybody ever come to service this, dryer?" And she goes, "No." I said, 37 years, nobody's touched it. She goes, "No." And I could tell because the screws, you could tell they were factory set in there. All I had to do was put a belt on it. It was something like I don't know, I think it charged like $120. Super simple, $20 belt, parts, time, labor, trip over there. I told her, I said, they just don't make them like they used to.
No.
You know, this technology is getting a little too advanced. They need to slow down just a little bit. But
So, Chris, you're telling me they make a good TV, they're not going to make a good refrigerator.
no, no, they don't. Oh my Lord, no, they don't. They created this thing. It's a linear compressor, and it's supposed to reduce heat, save energy, save you money on your bill or whatever. But at the end of the day, the windings end up breaking because the computer, the board actually sends too much power down to the compressor. It just blows it all out.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you tell someone, "Well, you need a new compressor. It's gonna be about $1,400 to $1,600." And that's when I look at him. I said, "Go buy a new refrigerator.
Exactly.
Get GE. Get refrigerator. Get something American made. Everything else is cheaper
actually
anyway."
done properly. So with that, I mean, we kind of jumped over. You went from the restaurant business to start this appliance business. So if there's a viewer out there that says, "Hey, I want to do exactly what Chris does, and I want to start an appliance repair business," brass and tacks. How do you do that? What does that process look like? Do I just go slap a banner on my truck and just start taking calls, or what do I have to do?
Won't lie, you're not too far off from what I actually did. No, well, community pages too. So I started in between me getting my certification. I was working with a guy who owned a bunch of properties, and he was constantly keeping me busy, just doing like handyman and renovations on houses. So in between that, I said, hey, you know anything about stoves? Next thing you know, I'm chipping away at it and chipping away at it. So I kind of fell in to meet the right guy. No, as far as like the shirt, man, I print these off at my house. I got a vinyl cutter at the house. The decals on my truck, printed it off at the house. Like I kept it very simple. And I don't know, my stepdad always told me, keep it simple and stupid.
Right.
So the name, it's simple, it's stupid. But you can remember it.
Exactly.
You know, it's not someone's name, Appliances. You know, it's just Appliance Works.
Which is what you
Stupid
want.
and simple.
I mean,
Yeah,
my
you
appliance
want
to
your
work.
appliance to work, right? I mean,
It's right there today.
yeah, so keep it very simple. But keep it simple and start community pages. You know, Wake Forest community page, fantastic. Because someone's always chiming up saying, hey, this broke or this broke. Hey, be the first one to message, jump on it and say, hey, look, let me come out and take a look at it. And I always tell people, there's only one time I've been stumped where I had no clue what was going on. It was an LG dishwasher. And I looked at the customer, and the guy even looked at me. He goes, how much do I owe you? I said, sir, you don't owe me anything. I said, I couldn't figure out what's wrong with it. How can I look at you and just say, hey, you owe me money for something that I couldn't even fix? I know, that's not, and next thing you know, he referred me to 3 or 4 people.
Right.
And he goes, no, he's like, Chris is awesome. He's like, couldn't help me out, but he was honest.
Yep.
And sometimes honesty will help build your reputation too.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a big believer in that. I mean, business karma. I mean, what goes around comes around. I mean, if you do the right thing, then it's going to be reciprocated. You're going to, definitely benefit from it, 4 or 5 times fold. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so some good return on it.
Yeah, I like it.
So you talked, Chris, you talked about like being in this and before, with your acting stuff on the side, having to take 24 days off. A traditional employer, basically just going to laugh at you if you ask for that. So that's a little bit of the why, but how did you get started in acting, and what are some of your goals there?
My goals, I mean, so clearly that's a dream. If something cool could happen, do I need to be? It would be cool to be a big A-list person. At the end of the day, I once chatted with a guy named Daniel Cudmore, was right at the GalaxyCon down here in Raleigh, and I said, "Hey man, you got any advice for an upcoming actor?" I said, "I just got back in the game. I'm gonna start taking my workshops." He goes, "Take all your workshops." He goes, "But if you're doing it for the fame and you're doing it for the money," he goes, "you will never achieve anything in this business." And a lot of people have that mentality.
Right.
It's more or less passion to portray something that you're not, and being talented enough to portray something that you're not. So I was trying to find a boundary, more or less, of work, because I do have a family, and I love my wife, I love my kids very much, and I know they're watching. So yes, I'm watching. I see you watching. So I told my wife, of course you can't let your family suffer while trying to chase your dream. So I got this up and running, and I started doing my classes, and then I signed with an agency, and I'm like, okay, this way, at least if I'm my own boss, I can kind of clear my schedule. And it's funny because most of my customers actually do know that, hey, I've got stuff coming up, and I also have somebody that I know personally who runs his own appliance thing too, who can fill in for me. I know he'll do a good job. He won't leave a bad taste in someone's mouth when he leaves. So I've got a good backup plan there. But if when the time occurs and time comes, at least I have all my bases covered. And like I said, I think I really found that fine line of have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
And we'll see what it does. Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, at least I tried.
Exactly.
Right? You never failed unless you just don't try at all. Then you really just fail and fall flat on your face.
Absolutely. I mean, and plus, you're never going to have that regret. What if I would have, followed it through? And that's awesome.
And the results even thus far, and I think I've been back at it for a year and a half now. I've done some pretty cool stuff. Featured in Halloween Kills. Sid Ross at Supernatural, the Georgetown Project with Russell Crowe. I've been a part of some really cool, very big productions, and they gave me a taste for it and see how everything works. It's one of those things, you analyze it and see how it works and see what you can do to achieve and what you need to do to get there.
Any type of movies or genre movies that you enjoy doing more than others, or
So everything.
You can't say adult.
No. Oh God, no. There's someone at home who would just totally frown upon that, and I'm loyal. I'm loyal. I'll do that. I'm loyal.
Just joking.
God, horror films are really cool.
Yeah.
Like Halloween, like it was really cool. Like I got to see the Michael Myers. Like there was a girl just outside the set, like burning each one of his suits, Michael Myers' outfits, which was really cool. Because of course, it starts off. You see like the really just clean. I don't know what is it, like a janitor suit or whatever he wears. And then you see her outside, and she's like blow torching one of the suits. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was like, and you see one with like blood all over it, and I'm like, all right. But I totally got sidetracked too.
Yeah.
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 Horror movies. Me personally, I would love to do a comedy. I'm one of those people. You catch me in my natural element. I'm being polite on air. Okay, I have to be very polite.
Good.
I can be a very crude, spontaneous person who does things, and you're just like, something wrong with you, man.
Yeah.
But bringing comedy back, and the sad thing is, I think people have become too offensive for comedy.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man. Like, people should be able to laugh, Like, laughing it's what keeps you alive, They actually say if you laugh more in your life, you have
You'll live
reduced
longer.
stress on your own heart. And I think, like social media's gotten blown up on that. I think people stress too much about politics, things like that.
Yeah.
Relax. Let's put some more comedy out in this world, Even if it's stupid funny. If it's so stupid you can laugh about it, as long as you're laughing,
That's
the
all that
job's done,
matters.
right?
Definitely. So, you probably see a lot of customers through your appliance business on a regular basis. Do you talk to them at all about your acting stuff, and how do those conversations look?
I do, because a lot of people, it seems like you guys ask me questions. Yeah, I ask, what got you doing this? I said, would you believe I told you I was a chef a year ago? They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So I can cook you a mean meal and fix the appliance at the same time.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
have to fix the appliance first.
Well, yeah, in order to get it to work, then you can cook again.
Yeah.
Or you cooked and then you broke it. It could go the other way.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, see, right.
Yeah, it's a
Touche.
double-sided coin. But yeah, I've spoken to a few about it. Some of them are actually enthusiastic. Like I tell them, I got a lady. Her name is Blanca. She lives southeast Raleigh side, and she's like so enthusiastic because her kid's wanting to pursue acting too. So of course I tell them, I said, look, you guys know my number, and of course I'm always willing to give people pointers too, whether it's agency, you need help with building a resume, those things, because they're very particular. Like I found out I did an audition once, and excuse me, beer's giving me the burps. I got halted middle of the audition, and of course most of these things when they're like in LA or New York, like you're doing it at your house right off your phone with a ring light, They halted me. And I said, what's going on? And apparently my backdrop was wrinkled. I was like, they halted. They literally stopped the whole audition. I said, sorry, we'll give you a try next time. The guy they specifically told me, they said, the backdrop is so wrinkled that I'm so distracted I can't focus on you. And I said, wow, okay. I was like, but I get it, and then it was funny because I spoke to my agent about it, and, A-list models in town, and say, but yeah, we'll give you a name drop.
Yeah,
It's cool.
we'll plug there. That's good.
Yeah, a little plug. And I was telling her, and she was telling me, she says, you record your kid in a room, and there's a bunch of toys on a shelf behind him. They don't want to see that. Like, they want flat wall. They want to be able to focus on you as a person, so they can actually see your audition. Right. Because if you're like me, I'm sitting here looking around this really nice looking CBD shop, and I'm like, oh, this is nice in here,
Yeah.
It's very comforting too.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Very
amazing
cozy.
how that just puts you at ease, the environment that you're in and how it's set
Yeah.
up. Yeah. So I'm going to whip out my crystal ball here, and we're looking into the future. What is the long-term vision that you have, like, for Appliance Works?
Long-term vision, man. I'm getting busy enough, like I'd like to hire a guy or two, but like I said, I want reliability. I want to make sure they bring the same customer service to the table. So long-term, I would like to add to the staff. Right now, it's easily maintained by me as a one-man wrecking crew.
Right.
But I'd like to see it go somewhere and build off of that, because I think a lot of people have had a bad taste from appliance people in prior experiences, and they no longer rely on the appliance repair guy. But I mean, if I come to your house, I promise you, I'll give you good customer service, and we'll get your machine up and running. You're gonna be happy at the end of the day, along with saving yourself a ton of money as opposed to going and buying a brand new unit.
Definitely. I like that. Yeah, like I said with my brother, it's the same thing. The focus on the customer service, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but he's a plumber, so just given the industry, it's messy by nature, and people have a certain expectation for them to be sloppy and crude, and so his shirts are collared and tucked in, and he keeps a spare cologne or whatever in the door, and washes his hands after each call, and he shows up, and they're like, "Wait a second."
Where's the plumber? Where's the plumber?
We're looking for the big guy with the butt crack hanging out, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, plumber crack.
They always think he's the sales guy, so just, you showed up at somebody's door to fix their appliance, they're like, okay, well, this guy's actually clean cut. Here's somebody I can.
It's funny actually because I throughout the course with COVID, keep masking the car. I sanitize my hands before and after the stops just to make sure in case by chance pick something up, non-transferable.
Right.
But the cologne in the car, I totally keep cologne in the car because you never know if your personal body odor is going to offend somebody,
That's
or
true.
or if you're sitting there sweating it out, and you're like, oh my lord, you lift the arm up, it smells like dirty mustard or something. You're like, man, I got to keep this clean. But yeah, always your smell and natural aura needs to be appealing to everybody else too.
Absolutely. So with that, I mean, so what are some of the challenges that you're currently facing in the appliance repair business, if any?
Man, let me be really honest. I don't really have any challenges.
I like it.
I don't even mean to sound like arrogant, nothing like that.
No,
but I mean,
I'm with you.
I think you talk about hiring people, so
Well,
I
getting
guess
to
that's
that
really
level,
just finding somebody that fits.
I think number-wise in flow business, like I am very steady. Where for one individual, I'm doing 4 to 5 calls a day, Monday through Friday. I finally got to a point where I could lay off of Saturdays, and I will take Saturday calls. Like if your refrigerator's down, you're about to lose hundreds of dollars in food, and your refrigerator, of course I'll come out.
All right.
The downfall to that though is if I need a part or something like that, there's only one company out in Morrisville that's open on Saturdays. They just had a huge change in staff. So they're not open on Saturdays right now. So I decided to halt on my Saturdays. But I've gotten busy enough where I don't really have to do Saturdays. But there's emergency calls. I mean, if you're really in dire need and you need it, I'll come out and get you fixed up.
Totally.
That's good. That was a good thing.
That's fantastic. So now, Chris, we would normally field audience questions.
We have a live studio audience. Oh no, we don't.
Oh,
No,
where
no,
they- where they
no,
hiding?
no, we don't. No, we don't.
Aw.
Yeah, no, so I shout this out every week. I want to make sure that we do hear your questions. So if you do have questions, like I said at the beginning of the episode, scroll down. There's the Anchor FM link directly to our show. You can call in with the Anchor app and leave us a message. You can ask questions for Chris. You can ask questions for any of our previous guests. Actually, in reference to the cologne, we actually had a guy on named Cam Bird who runs his own YouTube channel specifically catering to cologne and scents and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But definitely call in, leave it in the comments section, send us a message on Facebook. We'd love to field your questions. I'd love to get you answers for that. Whether you're somebody who wants to get your appliances fixed or somebody that's thinking about going into the appliance field or even the acting field, send us your questions. I'll be happy to reach out to Chris and get you answers to those questions. But Gavin, what do you think about moving on to the next segment?
Yeah. So we just have a few questions that we've had brewing, which is our not really rapid fire round, but it's the same questions that we ask every single guest since the beginning of the. Has it been the beginning?
Yeah,
Has it
I
been
mean,
that kinda?
we added that one.
Yeah. I was stoked about the one. Anyway, so same group of questions we ask every guest. So first question, when you're not out making the world a better place by fixing appliances, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh man, weightlifting. I love playing some Xbox with my kids whenever I have the chance. We jump on the Fortnite or Call of Duty, whatever we can jump on. So we play video games. I'm a big muscle car guy. I actually a couple of my buddies and myself we actually run a car club, Rolling Thunder Outlaws. We're like all Dodges. We love our muscle cars.
Yeah.
But you can tell I drive the blue and white striped Dodge Challenger because she gets a lot of attention around here.
What kind of Challenger is it? Is it a 392 RT?
No,
Is
she's an RT.
Okay.
But she's got an SRT8. Like she's got all the SRT8 components to it.
Oh yeah.
So she's fun, heavily modified, very loud, lowered speed bumps and high curbs. They're not a friend of mine.
No.
Do you
No.
have a bumper sticker that says Mopar or no car?
No, I've got one that says in my mirrors though. It says if I see you in this mirror, you are losing. So when I look in my rearview mirror and I see you behind me, it means I'm clearly ahead of you, which is a good thing. But yeah,
This
what
is,
does I have a hobby? I don't know, man. I'm a muscle car powerlifting guy.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. You
Video
mentioned
games.
the kids. How old are your kids?
I have a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Wow.
They keep me very busy. I mean, we
I'm
got
sure.
2 cats, 2 dogs, and I have a very loving wife. I love you to death, baby. What we got? 3 guinea pigs, 2 cats, 2 dogs. I got a leopard gecko in the house. We got a beta fish in the house. I'm like,
We starting Noah's Ark over there, or what do you?
yeah, man. Hey, if the world comes to an end, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be just fine.
We'll go for a beach.
Yeah, very good.
That's crazy. So Chris, one of my favorites is Gary Vaynerchuk. Just to watch his videos, consume his content. He's written a few books as well. I personally like Audible, but what content are you consuming?
Man, I'm a YouTuber. I don't lie.
I dig it.
I keep it really simple. I mean, even if I get stumped on something like YouTube, watch a video, whether it's work related or it's personal. Like if I'm doing something to my car, well, actually, when it comes to the car, I'm in a group me chat. So I swear, if I ever need anything, guys, my car is doing this. No, go change your speed wheel sensor. Oh, okay. Yeah, change out the speed wheel sensor. But yeah, I just look it up, man. I'm not much of a reader.
Nice.
It's I mean, unless it's a script, I'm like, I have to.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But you can ask my wife. She's got to sit there and like babysit me through the whole thing. Like if I have an audition, I've got to read like lines. I'm like, I don't want it. I'm a visualist. I like to see things.
You strike me. Well, you are a car guy, very
Yeah.
similar to myself. So, do you follow anybody on YouTube? Like any car guys on YouTube?
No,
No?
not
Okay,
really. No,
okay,
Okay.
I don't follow guys on YouTube. They should probably follow me.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I like that.
Loud, proud, slightly illegal, no
Yeah.
cats, exhaust dumps. It's only an inspection. It's fine.
That's awesome.
I know there's one guy, this couple held a like YouTube how to get subscribers or something,
Uh-huh.
and the main person was talking about it, and they had like, maybe 1,000, 1,200 subscribers, and then their husband was always at the track and racing cars, and found this other dude who also ran a race channel, and they did a YouTube video together. So now he's got like 5,000 subscribers.
Awesome.
And I was like, I want to talk to that guy for the rest of the meeting.
All right.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good way.
Mama, I want to go fast.
But no, it's a guy. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah,
But-
that's right.
Yeah, no, there's guys in the club. I mean, they know how to modify. I mean, in particular, a guy named Jeff Stoltz and Adam Perry. Like these two, like their attention to detail with where to place, whether it's a decal sticker going on your car, or something swapping out a steer wheel so you have the more modern steering. Like,
Yeah.
just blows my mind. Their attention to detail, and those are my 2 guys. I guess if I watched after anybody, it'd be my 2 buddies. And their attention to detail is really what it's all about, and it's what makes the look of your car that makes it more appealing.
Well, so when this appliance business takes off and you're a multimillionaire and you're this huge actor and you're not even talking to us anymore because you're just that big, what is the dream car that you're buying?
Dodge Demon.
Oh,
I mean, come on, man. I mean, that thing, it's stock. You don't have to
it's a
do
stock
anything to
track
it.
car.
Yeah, it's super fast, just the way it is. I mean, man, you catch me on a straight line, I'm blowing you out the doors and
That's
stuff
right,
like that. Yeah, I mean, there's not a car on the floor, it's coming out factory that's like that.
No,
but
no.
No,
That
it's a
definitely was
fantastic
a great venture.
otherwise, an Audi
Amazing
R8.
car.
No,
Yeah.
I won't lie, I like the Audi R8s. There's a
do
blue one out in Wakefield over near my house. I see him drive by, and I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I want
Especially if
one
you
of
get like the V10 with the manual. Oh my God, with that
Competition
gated
kit,
manual. Yeah. Oh my God, beautiful car.
It's an outstanding car.
All right. My favorite question is, in the spirit of us having beers here, if you could have a beer with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I was Chris Farley.
Really?
Yeah, from SNL, the Tommy Boy.
Yeah, yeah. Van down by the river. You
That guy gets drunk. I could just imagine being like a blatant idiot. And I'd probably just sit there and laugh about it, watching him. He'd be like that guy who just does things.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it'd be hilarious just to watch him just do what he does.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Man, down by the river. Like, yeah, man, go fly through the table now. Come on, man. You're right in the CBD shop. This little table will take it. It's fine.
That's right.
I know you've only asked that question twice so far, but that's my favorite answer.
That is my favorite answer too. So we have a new number one right there, just like that.
Awesome.
So, Chris, I know we got your phone number up there, but where can people find you? Where is your preferred method of contact?
Probably Facebook.
Okay,
You look at Appliance Work on Facebook. Shoot me a message. I think even my response time's like 13 minutes.
I dig it.
So, I mean, I get back to you. I don't answer phone calls when I'm on the job, but however, you text me. I always tell people, too, if you text me or give me a phone call and I can help you walk through it, I won't ask for a dime. I don't charge people unless I come to the job. It's like $65 for a diagnosis. And if you have a handy husband who's willing to fix it himself and I say, hey, that's your part, I said, here's your part number, and I tell you exactly how to swap it out, $65 for the diagnostic. You pay me to do, if you have me do the work myself, of course the rate's a little different, and I waive the diagnostic fee. So I try, like I said, there's a fine line in saving people money and price gouging. I'm not a fan of the whole price gouging thing.
Right.
I get it. Long term, I'd rather just do more jobs in a day and turn my pennies that way.
Totally. So, you do texting. I like it.
Yeah, man,
Hey,
I'm
just
big on
shoot me a
texting.
Text, hey, my fridge is broke.
People don't like talking to anybody anymore. They don't want to be on the
of
phone
course.
with you.
Yeah. Phone.
Yeah, shoot me a message. I'll be all right.
You call
man.
somebody, they just ignore your call and text you like, "What is going on that you're calling me?"
I'll hit you with that auto response. Hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
there you
going
go.
on here?
No, definitely. So, but before we move into my favorite segment, the after brews.
I thought yours was the farewell. I thought it was the goodbye.
Well, I like the farewell. It's good.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm just not going to leave. How about that?
Okay, well,
We're
that's
just going to sit here and just keep rolling with the
fair.
show. It's
That's
fine.
Nick's gonna kick us out, but that's neither here nor there.
I definitely want to say again, thanks to Nick and Scott for letting us hold the show here. Their link is in the description as well, so be sure to visit their website. Fortunately or unfortunately, we talked a lot about their physical location. They actually do ship. So you don't have to come here if you're watching this show in California or New York or Texas. You can just go on their website down there in the description, order a product, and they'll send it directly to your doorstep.
Yep,
I mean, honestly, he's a really nice guy, and I personally would want to come to the store to actually meet him.
Definitely.
And it's one thing we haven't really talked about is every guest that we have here says that they always compliment how nice his store is, and they always end up asking questions about CBD. And
100%.
it never fails.
Oh, my wife
It never fails.
loves her CBD. Like I said, her hands will cringe up because she's on a keyboard all day. When she has CBD,
if you
she's
count-
good.
So if you count Nick and Scott, this is the 5th show we've done here, which means there's been 4 other guests, and that is 100% true.
Yeah.
They
It's like one of the
always-
few stores over. It's not a dirty hippie when you walk in. Like it's a guy who's actually knowledgeable
yeah,
on his
yeah.
products. You know, like he knows his stuff in here, and I think that's what makes the big difference.
100%,
You know?
definitely.
Not that there's anything wrong with dirty hippies, but we're just
No,
saying.
no. I totally support dirty hippies. Don't get me wrong.
So if you're a dirty hippie out there, we have nothing against you.
We love you. The trees still need you. It's okay.
So next, I just want to say, his phone number is up there on the screen, but totally, Chris's Facebook link is in the description. I've included that. It's easy. You can shoot him a message. Most people don't know you don't have to be friends on Facebook to send somebody a message. So just shoot him a message.
Unless you come into my acting fan page.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
different.
Then
Everything
you
changes.
you can ask him questions. You can schedule a visit. Just because I know as well as the next person does that when the fridge goes out and you just bought groceries, it's not only super convenient, but you don't want to have to go lose all that money and go through that entire process again. So be sure to reach out to him. Let him know what your troubles are. I know based off of his customer service that he's going to help you out regardless of what the end state looks like. So be sure to do that. And as far as our show, if you gained any value from this whatsoever, the link is in the description, both the website and the Anchor. Make sure to download the Anchor app. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to tell your friends. And if you're feeling up to it, whether you're going to start your own appliance business or get into acting or you just want Chris to come fix your stuff, then please feel free to support our show and send us questions. We're happy that you're here. We're happy to have an audience like you guys, and we're very grateful for all of that. But with that being said,
Thank you again, Chris, for
Very
coming
welcome.
on. Nick, again, thank you again for letting us use the shop.
Appreciate you guys
And
having
we
me.
will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for viewing in, and we'll see you next time. Like the more
Did I
relaxed
tell you I don't
part,
like reading?
did it work? Are we still live?
Uh-oh.